Welcome to the AI Checkpoints. And just a quick heads up before we get started. This content, everything you'll hear today is actually generated by AI. All right, so let's jump in. Today we're doing a deep dive into something called reinforcement fine-tuning, or RFT. We're looking at how it's really changing the game for AI reasoning, teaching it how to think, not just loading it up with facts.
Exactly. And what makes RFT so interesting, I think, is its whole approach. It basically lets models learn by checking their own work, their own answers against this special grader. Think of it like a really detailed rubric. It's this self-correction loop that's, well, it's proving to be a game changer for AI performance.
Okay, so that difference is pretty important then. Like you think about retrieval augmented generation, RFG. That's like giving the AI a massive library, right? But RFT, that sounds more like teaching it how to actually use the library, how to be a researcher, analyze things, draw conclusions.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. Prompting and argue are fantastic for knowledge, for getting the facts in there. But RFT comes in when the model kind of knows the stuff, but struggles to apply it, struggles with the actual reasoning part.
Okay. So how does this stack up against other fine-tuning methods, like supervised fine-tuning or preference fine-tuning?
Good question. It's quite distinct. Supervised fine-tuning is more about teaching fixed patterns like Q&A formats, and preference fine-tuning. That's often more about style or tone or safety alignment. RFT is really built for tasks where that complex step-by-step reasoning is crucial. Think policy compliance, maybe legal analysis, even some medical workflows.
Right, where the how matters as much as the what.
Precisely. And another really interesting thing, it's surprisingly data efficient. You might only need, say, tens or maybe up to a few hundred examples, not thousands.
Wait, really? Only tens or hundreds? How does that work?
Well, the idea is that each really good example, each sample, isn't just one learning point. It can generate loads of different learning paths for the model. It's like one solid coaching session can teach a core skill that the AI then practices in many different ways.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So getting back to how it works,
Mhm.
you mentioned this grader. That sounds pretty central to the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely essential. The grader is the heart of it. And it can't just be like a simple pass or fail. You need a robust, continuous grader. Something that gives nuanced feedback, maybe like an F1 score or similar, that really tells the model how well it's doing, not just if it got the answer right.
A rich signal, you mean?
Exactly, a rich signal to learn from. And critically, this is super important. You have to use the exact same grader for training the model and for evaluating how well it's doing later.
Consistency is key then.
Absolutely. Otherwise, you don't really know if the improvements you're seeing are, real and valid.
Now, something else that caught my attention was this idea about data. Quality over quantity. That seems almost backward sometimes in AI.
Yeah, it does feel a bit counterintuitive, but for RFT, it's crucial. You want small, really high quality, and importantly, balanced data sets
Why balance?
to avoid something called reward hacking. Think of it like the AI figuring out a loophole to get a good score without actually learning the reasoning. If your data mostly shows one type of outcome, the AI might just learn to predict that instead of learning how to reason properly.
Ah, okay. So the quality data forces it to actually learn the deeper logic.
Precisely. And it's not just the data itself. The prompt you use matters too. A clear, concise prompt that lays out the task helps the model focus its reasoning. And again, consistency matters. Use the same prompt style for training and when you actually use the model.
Let's make this concrete. I saw an example about a company called Accordance working in tax and accounting.
Yes, that was a great case study. Accordance used RFT for complex tax strategy tasks. And they saw, I think it was over a 40% improvement on their evaluation benchmark, which is pretty significant.
Wow, over 40%. How did they manage that? What was the key?
Well, a couple of things stood out. First, they were smart about what they applied RFT to. They picked objective tasks where you could clearly see if the reasoning was improving. And second, their grader was really well designed. It was continuous, like we talked about, and it was stratifying.
Stratifying. What does that mean here?
It means it didn't just reward the final right answer. It actually rewarded the correct steps in the reasoning process along the way. That's how they avoided that reward hacking problem we mentioned. The AI had to learn the right way to get the answer, not just stumble upon it.
Okay, so pulling this all together. If someone listening is thinking about using RFT, when is it actually the right tool for the job?
Good question. RFT shines when you have a reasoning task, where the model already has some basic ability. It's not starting from absolute zero. And crucially, you need to be able to define a clear, formal, robust reward function, that grader we keep talking about. It has to be continuous and give that rich feedback.
And when should you maybe not use it?
Definitely avoid it if your data is super noisy or has lots of conflicting examples. That will just confuse the model during the reinforcement process. It needs crummier signals to learn effectively.
So wrapping up, it feels like RFT isn't just another tweak. It's really about fundamentally changing an AI's ability to reason, moving
Mm.
it beyond just knowing facts.
Absolutely. It's a pathway to creating these highly specialized AI agents that don't just retrieve information, but can genuinely understand and apply complex logic in their specific fields. Very powerful stuff.
Definitely powerful. So here's a thought to leave you with. What complex reasoning challenge, maybe in your own work or industry, could be tackled if you had a really smart grader to help teach an AI how to master it? Food for thought. Okay, that's our deep dive for today. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. See you next time.